Добрый день. So we're sitting here with Andriy Zelenskyy, who in many ways, those of us who pay attention to Ukraine, we've seen you before. But if you wouldn't mind telling our American audience who you are and what you've been doing.
Nowadays, I'm responsible for military chaplaincy in the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, and I'm a priest, Ukrainian Greek Catholic priest. I'm also a Jesuit, and I teach as a professor of political science at the Ukrainian Catholic University. But nowadays, of course, first and foremost, this is spiritual care of the Ukrainian military, but actually responsibility for the whole process in the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church.
If we're facing this entry of the third year of this full-scale invasion and mark the 10th year of the invasion in Ukraine, how have you seen your role in being chaplain and being a guide evolve? That's a lot of responsibility.
The chaplains in our church are in the front line since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
For us, the war had started in 2014, and me personally, like almost 4 full years in trenches since 2014. So, but there is a difference. Like, the first 8 years of the war, it's more a defensive style. So we had to defend ourselves. And the last 2 years, this is more active style of combat for our military, but it also has to do with our chaplains. So, because I usually say that a chaplain has a very modest mission, and that is mending broken humanity. And war does leave scars. It does wound, especially our humanity. So in these two different styles, the first 8 years and the last couple of years, we see a humanity differently wounded, or wounded in sort of different ways. And the context has changed. For the first 8 years, there was a front line. There was a region of our country afflicted by war. The rest of the country could live quietly. Nowadays, the context has changed, and the war, like Russian missiles, can arrive anywhere in this country. And it is important. Why? Because our military, they are people from the people. I mean, they're people, they're part of this country. These are not only professional military. Nowadays, in Ukrainian trenches, these are like yesterday IT specialists, ballet dancers, university professors. They are fighting today for their freedom, for the lives of their families. So, and in this context where a threat is total, so to say, because there is a threat to your family as well. Even back there, you leave family, you go to fight, but then you're still anxious about what's going on with them. We have cases when a husband and a father, he's a soldier, but his house with his mother and his wife and his 3 children is destroyed by a Russian missile back home. So this adds to anxiety, this strengthens a stress, and of course there's more work to be done with what I call this broken humanity. So this is a challenge, but every challenge has a room for growth, so we have to grow. And I never cease repeating that this is our time. It just happened. We lived during this time in this place. So the only thing we have, the only way to handle the situation, we have to become stronger. And first and foremost, stronger spiritually. We have to be more, let's say, grown-ups, have to be more mature. I mean the Ukrainian people. So yes, we are wounded, yes, we are bleeding, but yes, this is time to become stronger.
When you think of the role of faith in this struggle right now, there are Ukrainians that are going through a range of new emotions at a level they've never experienced before: anger, frustration, and despair. How do you see the role of faith in that survival in this living hell?
This is exactly why we need faith. You mentioned the role of survival, and this is actually a hell where we need faith that can always bring us some hope that despite everything that we see today, despite all the pains that we have to undergo, especially a pain of losing somebody close to you, losing your family members, your loved ones. So despite all this, and despite the uncertainties that are in front of us, so despite all this, we need a way, we need a horizon, and this is what a faith provides, a living faith. And it's not only a concept of future that the faith provides, but a strength to make a step, not to stay frozen, but to move forward, to seek, to find, and definitely a person with faith, with deep faith in his or her heart, has more strength to handle all sorts of challenges that we today have to handle. That's like, there's always two combat fields, so there are only two theaters of war. There's one, the obvious, the general one, but then there is always a field of fighting field in a human heart. And that's where a chaplain is called to be a warrior in a human heart, to provide strength that can help stay human. That's very, this war, maybe let's say, I would say that the uniqueness of this war, it shows how a human person in the 21st century can become so inhumane. For me, that's a great question. After two global wars, after half a century of global culture, we would expect that it's all in the past. But what we see when we see Russian soldiers, what they do, how they deal with civilians, with the prisoners of war, even how they deal with their own wounded and fallen soldiers, this goes beyond your mind. That's something very, very inhumane. And since humanity is a universal thing, the scars on humanity would have a universal impact. It's more than just philosophical speculations. That's about something very serious and very real, something that we can so easily not notice. So I would say it is our humanity under attack nowadays. If we don't notice, if we choose not to see the way Russians fight today in Ukraine, the way human lives and human beings are handled in this war. So just like this war is supposed to be like a call to our innermost, conscious, to the depths of our humanity, saying, hello, people, like, just look where you're going. That's the wrong direction for humanity. That's not the direction for peace and prosperity and future. That's a completely wrong direction. But I say that there are, there are these three types of edges to our humanity. As in the battlefield, humanity does have edges. And number one, that's this inhumane behavior of the aggressor. Number two, that's the conditions in which the Ukrainians, for example, have to fight, because the war, it is the edge of civilization. Well, number three, I would say that this is the edge provided by all those people who worldwide decide not to notice, not to see the indifference that can kill. So, and not only Ukrainians, but humanity.
Yeah. Couple more thoughts. The warrior has a lot on their consciousness in this context. How, when you talk to soldiers, do they come to you and say, how do I maintain this faith I have in the Christian path when I have to face this evil? Do they come to you that way, or is it not that specific? Does anyone referring to?
No, it does happen. And of course, yes, it does happen, and it happens often. But it's important to keep in mind, I'm a priest,
right,
not God. So my job is to bring him to God, who is the source of grace. And as I said, it is a humble mission.
Right.
It's not much that I can do, but I can listen and I can hear a human heart afflicted by pain. Yes, I can be present, and the ministry of presence does play an important, significant role in this sense. Yes, I can provide some ideas from the scriptures that can be useful to a person. And yes, as a priest, I can minister the sacraments that are important. For example, confession is important for many soldiers nowadays. So my role is to be a companion, to be somebody who is nearby in this chaos, but yet tries to focus on something that's beyond the horizon of the event itself. So to be a sign of hope, to be even your presence. A chaplain is usually known in a unit, so this presence can be a sign of hope. And especially in the situations you're talking about, when it is difficult, when you experience the edge of humanity, so you should say that there is something beyond, that there is a chance beyond, that there is hope beyond. Just don't stop. Just stay human, no matter what the adversaries, no matter what the people from the other side do. You stay human. You do what you're supposed to do. You defend life. You defend human dignity.
That is when your faith is hard tested, is more.
The thing is, what's hard tested is proven, is solid later.
Yeah. When you were younger, you aspired to see America, and you ultimately went to America, were educated in America as well. And right now, America, although a very good partner to the security of Ukraine, is having some inner struggles of its own. What does America mean to you after all of these years and all of your adventures, and now 10 years of war and 2 years of an unbelievable war, where you see this in the news now about America? Give me some thoughts on that before we go.
I arrived to the States in 1997, so I went to college for 4 years of philosophy in the States. And the first thing that struck me, the first thing that was great surprise to me, because keep in mind, I left Ukraine with a horrible economic situation, no gas, no electricity. So the first thing that was really surprising to me was the amount of electricity, the amount of light in the streets at night. But it has also a very symbolic meaning. Like, the United States to me always remain as this place in the world, as this country of light. So that's something that I would like the United States to keep doing, to be bright, to shine bright, to be light. And light is something that helps us to understand what's going on around, not to get lost in the deformed shapes of reality. So be bright, stay bright, remain a light to the world. That's also a part of our mission as Christians, but that's something that I would expect from the Americans to.
I thank you for your time. We will talk again. I want to have you say one final thought for your fellow Ukrainians who I know also watch our broadcast about staying strong and getting through this.
Just going back to the same idea, this is our time. There used to be people who had to go through difficulties during World War I. There used to be people whose part of whose life it was to get through the trenches of World War II. Well, that's our time. We don't have another time. That's our part of the globe. That's our homeland. This is our lives. So if this is our time, this means this is time to become stronger. And first and foremost, stronger as real human beings who are defending the most precious of all gifts, human life and human dignity. And of course, they're not possible without human freedom. So that's our mission today. We have a mission. We must become stronger.
Amen. Слава Богу.
Слава навіки.
Слава Україні.
Героям слава.
Дуже дякую. you.